Okay, everyone, now we're continuing on with the series on the basics of mindfulness, practicing with clarity. This is the third part of that series to help you to ensure that you're practicing clearly and practicing correctly, because if you do, you'll really receive and experience the benefits of your practice. So, mindfulness, like we talked about, is bringing attention to our present moment experience. And we move the attention to different parts of that experience in the mind and in the body and in our senses. And unlike other meditation objects, like we talked about in the first video, that are concentration objects where the mind stays connected to a single thing, like a mantra, like a visualization, like loving kindness, holding this one thing, single pointed awareness to develop concentration. It has different benefits, it has different reasons for doing it. And then there's mindfulness, which is really to explore and gain insight into the nature of the mind body experience, the nature of consciousness, the nature of suffering and stress, how it arises. And then really we begin to see what we can do about it. So it's a whole study of the mind and body experience. So scientists cannot and do not have a tool to measure our minds, our consciousness. There's only one way, like they measure body through microscopes, the brain we might associate with the mind, but that is the physical structure of what might help to determine some, which probably does help to determine some mental functioning. It's the physical structure, though, it's not the actual mind. We have a thought and nobody can see that thought, right? We have a mood in the mind and nobody can see it, nobody else, science can't measure it. They might be able to measure it in terms of the effects on the brain, but not on the direct experience of the mind. So Matthieu Ricard said there's only one way that we can study consciousness in the mind, and that is in the first person, to do it ourselves. And so that's what we're doing when we're practicing meditation, is really coming into an intimate contact with the way the mind works. And what we start to see is the obsessive ways that the mind leads to suffering. And the seeing of that helps us to let go of that as a habit of mind. And through that seeing, it's like a light that we shine on the mind. In that light, the darkness can't live, right? It starts to recede, and the light part of the mind starts to grow. So in the first two videos, we practiced awareness of the body, the breath, the posture, sensations in the body. And then another point of observation is observing the states of consciousness in the mind. We did a little bit of that in the first two videos by noticing and noting when the mind wandered or when we're thinking, when we're remembering, watching the mind as it does that, and then coming back to the breath. And then, so these are mind, what are called mind objects. They are thoughts, as we have been observing, and then states of consciousness, which is like the mood of the mind. So that is something that we also take into observation whenever we're practicing mindfulness meditation, noticing and acknowledging the truth of our experience, whatever it is. We're sleepy, we can know that we're sleepy. We're restless, we can know that we're restless. We're anxious, we can know that we're anxious. Whatever the quality of the mind is, we know it just as it is. So in mindfulness, we're not trying to change or manipulate or make better the situation in the mind, but we are trying to really study all of these feelings, thoughts, and emotions, see them as they are. So the mind is always conforming to the reality of the present moment experience. So watch as you practice that you're not trying to manipulate, change, or control that reality in any way, but rather with a real loving, caring attention, just see the reality as it is. We begin to trust this process of awareness because it's very healing. As we allow ourselves to feel a mind state that we might try to avoid, like anger, we find that this awareness, this non-oppression, we're not expressing it, but we're also not oppressing it, bringing it out and into the light of our awareness helps to heal it and helps us to bring us to a place of understanding our emotions. So we will still use as the primary object the body and the breath. We want to resort the attention into the body as often as possible and the breath as often as possible. This watching of the breath helps to bring concentration and therefore tranquility into the practice. And as we have tranquility in the practice, then we start to see more subtle workings of the mind and body experience. So as we do this meditation, we will also start to turn towards the states of consciousness that we are experiencing. So again, set up your meditation posture. And again, as you settle into that posture, allow yourself to relax, release, and let go of any tension in your body. And letting your breath be natural, not trying to change or make it longer or shorter or deeper. If it's a shallow breath, let it be a shallow breath. If it's a deep breath, let it be a deep breath. Noticing where you feel the touch of the breath. And bring your attention here, noting inhaling as you breathe in. Exhaling as you breathe out. And always start your meditation by staying with this primary object of the breath to give your mind a few minutes to settle, to relax. The mind wanders, noting wandering, planning, thinking, remembering. And gently come back to the breath. And if the breath is very subtle, you can put your hand on the rising and falling sensation. Bring your awareness to a touch point in the body, your hands or your seat against the chair or cushion, or your back against the chair or cushion. Observing the physical sensations there. Acknowledging the reality that is there. And then come back to your breath. And then notice how you feel in this moment. What state of mind is present? Anything that is there, if you're sleepy or if you're restless or if you're calm or agitated, worried. Welcome whatever is there. Allow it to be as it is. Naming the state of consciousness. Worry. We're always just knowing our reality just as it is with mindfulness practice. We don't have to change it. You can come back to the breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Allowing experiences to come and to go on their own. All are impermanent. Inclining the mind to letting go. and not clinging to anything. Observing again what the feeling is. It may be the same, it may be different. Naming the state of consciousness. And then exploring the state of consciousness by observing any bodily sensations that you feel from that state. So, for example, if anger arises in our practice, we might feel constriction somewhere in the body, in our head, our heart, or our stomach. Worry, we might feel fluttering feelings and sensations in the body. Love, we might feel opening, light feeling in the heart. Calm, we might feel ease in the body. You don't have to look for anything, but just if you notice, as you name a mind state, name it in the mind, and then observe it in your body via the sensations, and then come back to the breath. And I'll ring the bell and observe the sound of the bell until you don't hear it anymore.